Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the farm. I apologize for the late footage, but it's been probably the windiest day on the planet here today. As you can see, I got the old Massey tractor rigged up with the post pounder. I fully intended actually to go fix some fence. I don't build a lot of fence, but we do definitely have to fix a lot of fence. We have the father-in-law's cows, and I have this love-hate relationship with cows I've had for years. Mostly hate. I love to eat them, but I mostly hate them because, well, they wreck fences, and then I have to go out there with the old tractor and fix it. But I figured I'd bring the old tractor. I had the flat tire the other day. I got that pumped up. And then when I was driving around the yard earlier today, I noticed that this was like, So power steering fluid was definitely a little bit low. Now, Massey Ferguson, when they built these industrial tractors in the late 60s, early 70s, in all their wisdom, Ranger, get out. They put the fill port not quite, perfectly level, but they certainly didn't make it easy to fill, because there's this ram here. Well, I can hoist the bucket and get that out of the way, but it's pretty much straight sideways. So I got to put a little syringe there and squirt my ATF in there and get it filled up. But anyway, so this thing's ready to go tomorrow if the weather is nice. Anyway, speaking about syringes, I got to chuckle about this the other day. So if you were to go to PV Mart right now and try and buy Ivermectin, you'd probably get grilled. You'd probably get 20 questions. And even if you got 20 questions and you got them all right, there's still a good chance you might still not get the Ivermectin. Because get this, people actually believe that they can put Ivermectin on themselves or ingest it, and it's going to prevent or cure the coronavirus. This is just the wildest thing. This is like cattle dewormer of all things. Coronavirus isn't worms. I'm sorry to say, it's not a parasite. Stop putting Ivermectin on yourself. So now, where this whole thing went sideways was like early on in the pandemic. There was research out of Australia from some lab sampling that they did there that determined that ivermectin could possibly be effective at slowing down the reproduction of SARS-CoV-2 or the COVID-19 virus, essentially. And but it came with a caveat. It came with a caveat that massive volumes of this stuff would actually be required to be effective in humans. So actually, in effect, more than what's required to treat a 1,500-pound cow or a horse. So obviously there's a huge risk to all the other health risks that come with that much ivermectin being doused onto a human being, namely ivermectin toxicosis, loss of rectal control, seizures, coma, and of course death, right? So I take the red pill, take the blue pill, do whatever you're going to do, but don't just drink Joe Rogan's Kool-Aid and start dousing yourself with Ivermectin. Now I thought, okay, well, this is maybe like, why are we running out? Like, why can't we get it at the PV Mart? Why can't we get it at the UFA? Like, how many people could possibly be doing this? But it's not that people are. It's not like somebody buys a bottle and they go to an Ivermectin party and they all kind of take a shot and away they go. No, what I recently learned is that people are actually using it for daily treatment. Like, they're taking it like a vitamin. Like, there they go. They got their Ivermectin and away they go. Well, they'll never get worms, but they must be literally shitting their guts out. I can't imagine how this is working out for them. Anyways, as a farmer, as a producer in the food chain, this is severely concerning to me because we actually use ivermectin, not on a regular or routine basis, but we treat animals as per necessary. And so when you have an animal that's displaying symptoms that maybe they're a little bit anemic, or you run a fecal and it's showing signs that there's the high parasite load, and especially this time of year when they're coming off a pasture or pasture's getting low, and maybe we're thinking about running them back up into the corrals and we're going to have higher parasite load, higher parasite risk, we're going to want to treat those animals. Now, we go to where we go, like I said, the PV Mart, the UFA, wherever it is, or Keddy's in Grand Prairie, and you can't get that stuff because we got people that are literally buying it off the shelf. So now we start losing animals, or animals start losing conditioning, or the health of the animal. We start taking higher mortality rates with our livestock during the lambing and calving season because we don't have access to these medications that, by the way, science has proven, and don't argue with me on this one, science has proven is not for what you're using it for. If we can't get this, what do you think is going to happen in 6 months? What do you think is going to happen in a year? Well, you better be ready to eat vegetables because you're certainly not going to have, it's going to have a massive impact on the food chain, right? Do you really want to eat parasite worm-loaded lamb or worm-loaded pigs or worm-loaded beef? Absolutely not. Well, don't worry about it. You won't have to because the animals won't survive. So stop taking Ivermectin. One thing that just drives me absolutely barmy about this whole thing is, I mean, the world has gone completely topsy-turvy, lost its mind, upside down, inside out. But throughout this whole thing, nobody's ever said you shouldn't eat properly. Nobody's ever said you had to sit your ass on the couch. Nobody's ever said you couldn't go for a walk. Nobody's ever said that you shouldn't breathe some fresh air. Nobody's ever said, well, now's not a good time to quit smoking. Nobody's ever said, well, I mean, you should probably drink twice as much alcohol as you are regularly. No, but yet as a society, what have we done to ourselves, right? We've done exactly the opposite of what we're supposed to do to get healthy and stay healthy. And then we end up taking these, wacko, completely, unbelievable medical advice off of a podcast from Joe Rogan, who how did he become a medical authority? Like, nobody, Dr. Joe Rogan. No, I don't think so. He's just Joe Rogan. So anyways, the world is crazy. That's my rant over for the day. I'm going to run in the house and go fix up a cup of tea. Stop taking Ivermectin. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.